Pounders, welcome back. We're starting at 2 p.m. on the dot today, Eastern time. We're going to do 3 drafts today, and it's all going to be on the big board on Underdog. And if you don't already know, it's Bestball. And you're starting 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end. And it's a tournament. So the top 3 lineups after week 14 will move on to week 15. They will be grouped with 12 teams, where then the top 2 will move on to week 16. And the same thing, you'll be grouped with 12 teams, top 2 will move, 10 teams, and only 1 will move on to week 17. That's it right there. And we have 200K up at the first place, so very heavy up top. And the last round will be 470 teams. So super exciting to get into these. We'll wait a few minutes, let some people jump in the live chat. King Cap, very excited to be drafting against you today. You're going to make my lobby extremely tough. So thanks for that in advance. So we'll just wait a couple minutes, see if anyone else is joining us in the live. And I'd like to go over some of the draft strategies that we've been working on here. And we're going to be releasing a video pretty soon. It's going to be a beginner guide, but really it's going to be for everyone. And then we'll come up with an advanced guide after that. But here are the 6 tips. Number 1 is going to be adjusting to the draft room. Let's pay attention, make sure that, no one's going 4 or 5 QBs. We want to keep our eyes on that, because then that will change whether we're going to pick one of our QBs sooner, and maybe we wouldn't have. If they're going 5, 6 QBs, you don't know when they're going to stop. And I've seen teams draft 10 QBs, and it's happened multiple times. Another one's going to be stay flexible, and that kind of builds off the last point. You have to have multiple different draft strategies, and they don't all have to be perfect, right? But we don't want to zone in on just one. Going into these drafts, we should be able to be flexible and just kind of take the value sometimes. And if you're focusing on doing 0 RB, maybe you're going to miss some of those value picks. So stay flexible. Have different rankings for tournaments versus the sit and goes. Underdog just bunches them all into one. And right now it's not as much of a problem where more people are doing these tournament drafts. But during the regular season, these ADPs are going to be averaged. And there's no way to tell the two apart unless you have your own separate rankings, or you can identify those players that are going to be season sit and go players versus tournament plays. Like Tyler Boyd last year, where he was the 3rd wide receiver on the team, going to be more of that cash game player versus tournaments. Tip number 3, draft players with high ceilings. We're drafting 20 rounds. So this gives you the ability to take shots at the end, as well as in the middle. If you have some of those floor guys already drafted on your team, then we can take shots on like Christian Watson, because we don't have to guess when to start these guys. They're just going to automatically be plugged in. Draft around and exploit narratives. Now, this is big right now because no one knows what the narrative is going to be yet. We don't know where these players are going to end up. I don't think anyone was going to guess that Marquise Brown was going to be traded last year before the NFL draft to Arizona. So that's a tough one. But some of the easy stacks that we can find right now, like Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, where we don't expect them to be moving, 0% chance, right? So that kind of raises the value of the stack, in my opinion, early, where we know that is locked and loaded, set to go. And then roster construction and correlation. You guys already know all about that. We'll dive a little deeper into that, but let's get into one of these lives right now. We'll do a little countdown for you fellas. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pounders. Waiting on 5 people, so we should be able to get most of you in there. Ben, welcome to the live stream, my friend. Ben has been grinding. Been seeing him in a lot of drafts this offseason. I have 35 so far. What are you guys at for number of drafts for the big board? And we're starting. Give me the 2 spot. Give me the 12 spot. Where are we? Yeah, we're at 12. All right, so we're going to be getting some late round value. Leo G, welcome to the live stream. I know you're out there somewhere. NF42, an absolute grinder, a mystery man, hiding in the shadows. NF42, always super strong during, the battle royales. We have another battle royale winner, and don't let NF42 trick you. He's got the goat horns. He just doesn't have them on, being a little sneaky snake. Being a little sneaky snake. That's equivalent to, like, smurfing, right? 55th draft. Congrats. Congrats. 35? That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, don't blow it. Don't blow it. Alright, so ELB drafting in the 9 spot, the king, and Snickler Rabbit. That's a username right there. Chase at 1, JJ going at the 2 spot, CMC falling to the 3, which is typical. I've seen Chase going at 1 a fair amount. Cooper Kupp, the 30-year-old, going at the 4 spot. I can't get the one-on-one to save my life. I can't get a top 4 pick to save my life. We've been ranting about this, how we just get 8 through 12 every single time. Now it's fine, like, we're experienced here, and it's all about variance, right? So maybe the next 30 drafts we'll get lucky, but I have Chase on 2 teams, and I want him a whole hell of a lot more than that. But in return, I have JJ on, like, 12 or 13%, so yeah, we're seeing these RBs fall. Not surprised. Not surprised. Eckler falling to 10. Bijan going at 10. I would love a little Eckler Lamb. Just don't think it's even really possible. The Snickler does something wild, like a QB. Yeah, he goes Eckler. Lamb Amon-Ra might be super different. Not a lot of people are gonna be doing that. I'm just getting so much Amon-Ra. Yep, and that's what we're doing. I don't think too many teams are gonna have this combo at the 12 spot, so go with our gut. We're gonna go wide receiver, especially being at the 12 spot. You have to reach to get your players, so we'll start wide receiver heavy. Chase higher ceiling than Jefferson. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, but the Vikings did throw the ball a lot last year, and you did see Jefferson finish as, like, the number 1 receiver, I think, 5 times. I got Chase Amon-Ra Waddle this morning. What? Wow, Amon-Ra wow. So you probably got Chase at 2 or 3, and then Amon-Ra fell to 22 or 23. Now, Amon-Ra's ADP was 21, I think, when this tournament started. So, I have a lot of Amon-Ra from my first, like, 10, 15 drafts. I was getting him, like, 75% of the time because he was going behind Derrick Henry, I'm pretty sure, which is strange. ELB grabbing Garrett Wilson at 16, trying to raise your exposure to Garrett Wilson, I'm guessing. Who are we hoping ends up in New York if we're drafting Garrett Wilson at 16? My question is, if Derek Carr ends up a Jet, is Garrett Wilson still worth a second round pick? I think he kinda back end, but if Rodgers is his QB, I think you can push him in front of Waddle, definitely. Chase fell to 4. Damn. That's awesome. That's awesome. See, that never happens to me. Although I haven't been put in this situation that many times, so NF starting with Cooper Kupp and Waddle. Harv getting the Diggs Josh Allen stack, which is nice. AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, typical, typical. T. Higgs going at 28. We fell a little in ADP. I think Smith fell too. Yeah, 5 picks. I think I have Smith ranked ahead of T. Higgins one spot in my rankings. I'd be curious what you guys think about Devonta Smith and T. Higgins. Obviously, there's a little more uncertainty with T. Higgins than there is Devonta Smith. He almost fell back to the AJ Brown Hurts team. That would be sexy. Sexy Rexy. Lee says, I feel like the difference between JJ and Chase is JJ can give you 12 and 150, and Chase can give you like 6. Yeah, but they both are capable of. Yeah, that's true. I mean, JJ is that volume guy, right? They're both capable of multiple touchdown games. I will be bringing in my first receiver, running back here. Let's see what he wants to do. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Justin Fields, welcome to the team. It's crazy. We have Justin Fields going at 35 and Joe Burrow going at 25. I just think that's nuts. Obviously, the rushing upside, Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields have higher upside than Joe Burrow. I get wanting Joe Burrow with Chase. That's really the only time if I'm pairing him with pass catchers because in these tournaments, maybe Joe Burrow is the guy you need week 15, 16, or 17 to have that 35-point game, and you can do it. So in tournaments, I'm on board with Joe Burrow going this early. In cash, I'm waiting on QB, 100%. Not drafting Trevor Lawrence either. I think he's very similar. I group him in that same zone where I would be waiting for cash games on QB for, like, a Dak. Look where Dak goes, 78. So, pull up the big board. Tony Pollard going at 43 to Harv. Very balanced start here. See how we're doing. Mike Williams, ETN, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, so very wide receiver heavy. We got Leo with Bijan, Patty Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Watson. I like that start. I like that start a lot. Air Force 40 with AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Debo, and Najee. Najee, I feel like is just a good value. He'll be higher on my board for cash games and real tournaments, but if he's going to be your first running back off the board, it's pretty damn good value for someone that's supposed to get 280 plus touches this year. Curious what Ben's going to do with the 4-5 turn. Oh, nice. And at 42, picking Michael Pittman makes me feel really good. Makes me feel really good about my exposure to Pittman, which is a lot. It's a lot. Starting 4 wide receivers. Fields JSN. Fields' upside may be slightly higher than Burrow, but his risk and lack of stack with elite pass catcher makes Fields go lower. Potentially, but I also don't feel the need to stack Fields with anybody because he can get there with his legs. I like this wide receiver. Think he had to do that to catch up. I think that's really nice. Really nice. George Kittle off the board at 50. Let's see who we have. And at 42 doesn't have a Charger. I'd be surprised if he goes Herbert here. Get some of that coffee running through the veins. Yeah, if Higgs stays in Cincy, I think he has to, right? If you're Cincinnati, you probably wanna sign him. Okay, so he does go Herbert. It's interesting without having Mike Williams, no Eckler. I get he fell 5 spots, so maybe he's only gonna go 2 QB with Herbert. Yeah, and if you have the stack, reaching really isn't a big deal, especially if you're correct. What if you're correct week 17 and you need the Chase Burrow stack to get 5th place? Then it's a good reach then, right? It's so early. We don't know what's gonna happen with free agency, with the draft. Some of these number 1 RBs might become RB2s. Like, are the Chargers gonna draft another running back? I think they have to. After missing on Roundtree, after missing on Spiller. So, don't be surprised if the Chargers draft another running back, which is sorta why Eckler has been falling a little bit. I think more people are realizing. There goes Gibbs, who's gonna be one of our picks. Try not to tell you guys too much here. I like Judy as well. I have Aaron Jones ranked ahead of Joe Mixon, especially now that we know he's restructuring his contract. Could go double wide receiver here. We could go Kyle Pitts and a wide receiver. Or we can go running back wide receiver. If I was gonna go a receiver other than Keenan Allen, it would probably be Jameson Williams. So let's do that. Let's do that. We get a little more Detroit correlation here. I think Aaron Jones is gonna move down. He's gonna go ahead of Mixon. He should probably be in this Dalvin Cook range, like right here. Gibbs, Kamara. Yeah. Now, I'm curious what his BMI, body mass index, is gonna come in at. Um, if it's slightly lower, he might fall into, like, a McKissick type role, or if it's slightly higher, maybe he, right, ends up like a Kamara. So it's gonna depend on how thick the boy can come in at. But definitely, almost every single dynasty board I've seen, Gibbs is the number 2 ranked running back. Let's check this out. Leo, Scoop, and Gibbs, and Kyle Pitts, still with the 2 wide receivers. We have the King drafting Adams, Wilson, Travis Etienne, Mike Williams, Judy, and Javonte Williams. Curious if you're trying to get a little Russie Wilson later. I see you. I see you. Antoine, 5 on the clock. Travis Kelce, Derrick Henry, Devonta Smith, TJ Hawk, Kirk, Marquise Brown. I like Marquise Brown for week 15, 16, 17. It's an absolute steal, and imagine if they do move DeAndre Hopkins. Like, where would Marquise Brown be going? Now, obviously, Kyler Murray, there's some unknowns of if he's gonna be able to start the season. I doubt it. So maybe this is the correct range, but I would probably have him ranked around here still, mid-50s, probably before Christian Kirk. If we know that DeAndre Hopkins moves on, that's a, high value wide receiver going late. Sean Payton will have fun with Judy, yeah. Judy's still a movable piece, though. He's still a movable piece. They tried to move him late in, like, the year last year or mid-year, but he ended the year strong, so his trade value might be up. They just couldn't come to terms with any teams for Jerry Jeudy, but they did try to trade him. That being said, with him having good end of the season, maybe they keep him. And at 42, getting his first 2 running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Isaiah Pacheco. Love that. He's done that quite a bit this season. First running back being J.K. Dobbins. I've loved how the squad's turned out. Ben, at the 6-7 turn, went another 2 wide receivers, George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. We're getting a little heavy on Pittsburgh here. I like it. I like it. See if we can get the correlation on QB over there maybe. Treylon Burks, definitely a player I want more of. It was pick 8. You saw that Tennessee released Bobby Trees today, and Bobby Trees is happy. He tweeted out free. This happened, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, 2 hours. Dotson at 81 was gonna be one of the players we were looking at. Zay Flowers at 82. Little reach, but reach to get your guys. I respect it. I love Zay Flowers' tape. It's promising. Alright. So Dak does fall to us. We're gonna be stopping at 2 QBs. You guys really chewed up the wide receivers on me, huh? I really thought I was getting one of these guys. So we're gonna have to do a little dip, duck, dive, dodge, and we're gonna take the value at running back here, and we're gonna have to go wide receiver on the way back around. We're done at running back for a long time. But we got a correlation here with Dak and CeeDee Lamb. This Cam Akers pick, you can argue, could be a Schultz, Dalton Schultz. Let's go with the RB. Yeah, and at 42 is always strong. Like, there if you try Googling or, searching his name on Twitter, a lot of people are like, "Show yourself. Who are you?" Super funny. People are trying to uncover who he is. He's a mystery man or girl, just living in the shadows. Doesn't even know they're an underdog legend in the streets. I like this squad. I wanna see some correlation, though. See them tie it in at the end. Tie it all together. So the king takes Jahan Dotson and then Deshaun Watson, maybe with the potential to get DPJ on the way back. I like that. I like that. Air Force 40 bringing in Miles Sanders, who has a question mark to him, but a solid running back. And when you bet on talent, does it really matter where Miles Sanders goes? I think he's gonna be productive on any offense. That being said, running behind the Philly O-line always helps, so great dip, duck, dive, dodge. Little dodgeball. We're missing 1, though. Oh, 2 dodges, that's it. By grabbing Dak and Cam, I'm smashing Akers and Ape all day. Yeah, I like Akers. Typically, I'd rather him be my RB2 at this point in the draft, but we're trying something different here. We're trying something different. We are gonna have to find some values at wide receiver, and I'm fine with taking 3 late tight ends, stopping at 2 QBs, stopping probably at 5 or 6 running backs, so we're gonna have 9, 10 wide receivers on this team. Super chat 50 bills if you don't snipe Hyatt. No chance, man. I need all the wide receivers I can get. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Everyone's in play. Everyone's in play. I need to see some of these QBs come off the board, please. If you can just start drafting them at a rapid rate. I'd truly appreciate that. James Conner at 94. Honestly, I like this value better than Cam Akers. James Conner ended the year on a high note when he came back from his injury. Like, he was firing on all cylinders. It's a team that's not gonna have Kyler Murray early, so they might lean on the run. He's the perfect 0 RB guy. Now this guy already has 3 strong RBs, so I'm probably getting my first QB here instead of my 4th running back. Njoku going at 96, followed by Brian Robinson. A lot of sharps, a lot smarter than me, like Brian Robinson at this spot. I'm I'm hesitant. As long as Gibson's still there, I'm hesitant. Tack, what are we doing here? You got your 2 tight ends. I would assume he's done at tight end after spending up on Kittle. He brings in Kirk Cousins. I love that. Brings in Kirk Cousins to match with Justin Jefferson. Trey Lance goes at 99. Dalton Schultz goes at pick 100, so he doesn't make it back to us. I think Schultz stays in Dallas. I said this yesterday. How do I feel about Ridley this upcoming year? Let me tell you this, you're gonna want your 8.6% of Ridley this year. It's not a player that you wanna be under on because he can burn you. If you go with 2, 3%, if you fade him entirely, he can burn you because he could very easily end up a reasonably top 8 receiver in that offense. That being said, he hasn't played football in a long time, so I think he has a stellar year. I really do. 2 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, he gets high on the way back, nice. I would have probably preferred DPJ in that spot to match with Deshaun Watson, but it's alright. Uh, Ridley was a top 3 wide receiver. What was that? It's funny to say at this point, like 3 years ago. So does that even matter? But he's still relatively young. He's 28 years old, turning 29 in December, so he's got a lot of juice left in him. I guess we'll take our most drafted receiver here. I would have preferred Mooney for the correlation. I need these QBs to come off the board. I need these QBs to come off the board. Do we reach for our man here? We're gonna go Cole Kmet. I don't think he's gonna be there on the way back around. We're not picking until 132, so he would have to fall 7, 6, 7 picks. Let's go safe. Let's get the correlation with Justin Fields since Mooney was taken. Can't figure out how to super chat. Don't need to, my friend. Your super chat for me is just gonna be a like on the live stream. You need 1,000 subbies to get super chats, so don't worry about that. I love B-Rob at this spot because even though I don't believe the NFL is rigged or scripted, they sure do love a good story, and B-Rob got shot twice the week he was named the starter. Yeah, I know. That was absolutely devastating. The fact that he returned in what, 4 or 5 weeks is unreal. Super lucky. I remember, like, I had a lot of Robinson last year because he was drafted so late. Um, he just basically got hit in all flesh. No major tendons, no bones were hit, so he was extremely lucky. NFL is eating up this story forever. I think they want to forget about it. I see why you would want Schultz to go with Dak, but Schultz might be gone. I've tried stacking Dak with Jake Ferguson in the tournament. I think that's interesting, Ferguson. I've seen a lot of people do that. I'm just not confident that they won't bring in another tight end if they let go of Schultz. I don't know if they'll go back to the backup Ferguson, but who knows? If you're right, tip my cap to you, my friend. What do you think of taking Russell Wilson instead of the ADP value? Well, Russ goes, what, 113, Tua goes around 90, 95. For me, it's gonna be these are 2 QBs that don't really have much upside on the ground anymore, so I'm gonna go with the guy that I have correlation with, to be honest. In these tournaments, value is sort of relative. Um, you're paying for expected value, right? So if we're going Tua, I want at least one of his pass catchers. Like, he goes to the Tyreek Hill team, so I love that, and he gets a bit of value going late. Russell Wilson, you have Judy, you have Javonte Williams, so I'm completely fine with that. I don't want Russell Wilson or Tua on teams that I don't have the pass catchers because week 17, how do we finish first place? If Russell Wilson has that blow up week, he's gonna bring 1 or 2 pass catchers along with him. He's not gonna get there on the ground. So, I just would rather bet on if I don't have those receivers, not picking Russell Wilson, if we're betting on him not having a blow up week 17, because the team that has the pass catchers will leapfrog you. So, that's how I think about it with the non-mobile QBs. Wendell Robinson, one of my favorite second-year guys. Pat Freiermuth, Tyler Boyd at the 10-11 turn from Ben. So he's got 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, kinda hero running back around Breece Hall, which I like. We're gonna get you to 1,000, start sending the super chats, bro. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. I don't know why I passed on Rashad there. That felt terrible. Yeah, I like Rashad, especially that's a nice value at 124. Damn. The perfect running back for his team as well. And he's got Danny Dimes going 17, 18 picks late. Talk about just scooping value, NF42. Just scooping value. Very interesting. Very interesting. Palmer goes to the Herbert team? Nope. Doesn't matter. I like Palmer as a one-off. I like Palmer as a one-off. Once Keenan Allen gets moved, Palmer's moving up. David Montgomery at 128. Dawson Knox goes to nope, he gets passed over. See right here, Mark Andrews. I'm probably picking Knox here instead of Rodgers. Since we already have Josh Allen, we don't need to go a QB until round 17 at the earliest. And we're up, so we should probably look at the board, hey? Yeah, what else is new? No receivers are left for me. You guys are a bunch of savages. A bunch of savages. I need receivers. I don't care how far I have to reach. I will not let you do this to me. Tight ends, I can wait. I just feel like Lazard has no upside. Michael Gallup. All right. Little correlation with Dak. We'll bring in Gallup here. Man, tough pickings, guys. Tough pickings. Gotta do what you gotta do, though. Gotta do what you gotta do to survive. That is disgusting. Yeah, and I've got Rashad. He's gonna have a career year, of course. We are literally watching an F42 draft the 200K team live. Imagine his squad's super strong. Cup, Waddle, T. Higgins, Pittman. He gets Justin Herbert at a slight value. J.K. Dobbins, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, Rashad White. These are 2 high upside year 2 running backs that I want a lot of this year. It's nice to see that we're high on the same players. Literally all these guys. It's funny. Let's see how Leo's doing the last couple. Zay Flowers, Zach Carbonet, which is the 3rd rookie in a lot of people's draft boards. Zay Jones, Elijah Moore, Bryce Young, and Sean Tucker with Patty Mahomes at QB. Elijah Moore is interesting, right? So if we think that Garrett Wilson's worth 2nd round pick, 16 overall, shouldn't we be moving up Elijah Moore? Because if we're putting Garrett Wilson at the 16 spot, we are expecting an uptick in production from the QB, and LaFleur is no longer there, which is who had the biggest tiff with Elijah Moore. I mean, definitely Elijah Moore's fault because he's swearing at him at practice, telling him to go F himself and telling him that he sucks. So that is why you sort of saw uh, Elijah Moore ignored last season in some of those games. Well, you can't really say that to your coaches. So with the LaFleur gone, and we assume that they're gonna get an uptick at QB, I think Elijah Moore is going too late with that in mind. Kadarius Toney. I wonder if Toney was still here, if you were gonna go Toney to match with Mahomes, Leo. He got sniped 1 pick before. Yeah, man, let's see my exposure to him because I want more of him, but every time I'm in a draft, people tend to be reaching up on him. 8%. So I'm right on market value. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with being market value. I want a little more. I probably wanna be double market value just in case he ends up in a killer situation. I wanna be part of that. Ben bringing in Kenny Pickett, which I was hoping you would do after getting Pat Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, and George Pickens. You're basically betting on this offense. So I think that's smart to bring in the QB. Rondale Moore, 146. Doesn't have Kyler, but I still like Rondale Moore, especially if DeAndre Hopkins moves on. NF42. His last pick was Isaiah Hodgins. I think Hodgins is gonna fall to over here, like 160s, 170s once they draft or bring in a wide receiver in free agency. I mean, I think they have to, right? I think they have to. So I'm not as high on Hodgins. I want him on my Danny Dimes teams like he did. So I'm fine with that with the correlation. Of course, he did it for a reason. Silly me. Silly peasant. I'm jealous you have the Burrow and Chase stack. That's a nice one. It's a nice one for Ben. Guys, if you haven't already and you're new to the live stream, drop a like on the stream. It helps us a ton. Subscribe if you like best ball and you want to do some of these drafts with us. We're doing them all off season, like clockwork. It might be a problem. Mm-mm. Nathaniel Hackett is the new OC. I don't think it matters. Sean Payton sort of knows what he's doing, so either way, you're gonna see this Broncos offense have a plus season. I like this tight end, sort of wish he was there. So we have Beckham going right before us. So this seems like a prime spot to go, like a Chase Claypool, but do I want 3? No, it'd only be 2 Chicago Bears. This is sort of what I'm looking at. Let's go Claypool with the off chance he has a decent season. Um, Traded in the middle of the year, so maybe he had a tough time learning the playbook and kind of catching up. Give him the benefit of the doubt. I think they give up a late first for him, so they're gonna want to use him, I would think. Now we're caught up on wide receiver. We're caught up on tight end. We just need one more at the end of the draft. Gallup was a great pick. I'm trying to scoop him up at a value with or without Dak because the second year back from ACL is usually the bounce back year. Yeah, yeah, definitely. The fact that he didn't re-injure it, so you just gotta keep Gallup healthy. What Gallup did end up injured last year, right? I don't think it was the same injury history here. 2022. Oh, shit. So it was 2022 January is when he tore his ACL. So yeah, another year removed from the ACL tear. And if they move on from Schultz, maybe Gallup has a better role in the offense. I'm not reaching on him unless I have the Dak stack. That's about as many picks, like 15 picks. That's all I'll reach on my guys. Just because we're doing so many of these and Gallup's gonna fall. He's gonna fall in some of these. So all right, let's see what you guys are doing. NF42 going Gainwell and Everett. I don't know what Gainwell does for this running back room. Everett, I'm not I'm not very high on Everett, but it's fine. I think Everett, you can get a tight end down here that is the same, if not better. Tack going 5 wide receivers in a row. Let's see what Ben does at the 14-15 turn. I like the Elijah Mitchell pick. That's the perfect running back 3, especially when you don't have CMC. I don't want Elijah Mitchell on my CMC teams. I want Elijah Mitchell telling the story that maybe CMC gets hurt for week 15, 16, 17. Plus, he has a role in the offense, even if CMC is healthy. I like this. This is 2 high upside guys that I'm higher on than most. Rashid Shaheed, who had one of the highest ADOTs, average depth of targets last season, potentially getting an upgrade at QB, and Tyquan Thornton. Maybe we have no Myers in the offense. Maybe they move on from Nelson Agholor. So could be the number 1, number 2 receiver in New England next season. Lot of targets up for grabs. Nico Collins, John Mechie. I like these picks. I like these wide receivers. I love that range. Look at this board just being dried up. Dried up, which is fine. That's why we reached on some of these receivers because you had to adjust to the draft room. And if we didn't, and we just, "Oh, let's just take the value at running back," we would still have 3, 4 receivers. We had to reach on most of these guys. So, you have to adjust to the draft room, otherwise you'll fall behind. And you'll notice that a lot more the sharper the draft is, you have to go get your guys. I'd like to pull up my big board or my big dog draft, the 250 from last year, because we absolutely crushed that one. and we reached. We got our guys. We had, Lamar, Bateman. Chase was the first pick. Lamar, Bateman, Mark Andrews. Bateman got hurt throughout the season. Then we had Trevor Lawrence with Ingram and Kirk. It was just a nice squad. Correlation with both QBs. End of the season, so we were, like, really zoned in for that. And we'll get some high stakes drafts going in the off season. Those are always fun. I hope to see you guys there, whether you're in it or just in the live stream. Yo, we got Leo going 5 rookie running backs. 5 rookie running backs. Very interesting. I've been getting a lot of penny here. Been getting a lot of penny. Not as much P. Ryan, so maybe it's time. We'll go P. Ryan here. They did get him involved a lot more, and especially in the playoffs, which is pretty crazy to think about. We'll let Tim Patrick fall to some other lucky folk in the draft, but I'm typically high on Tim Patrick. Let's do a little exposure, smooth out here with Hardman. Hardman's gonna be one of those guys that can spike into your lineup, so I'm excited for him maybe staying healthy this next season. I like Brees to bounce back strong. Yeah, yeah, clean tear. That is the report. It was, much should be much easier to recover from than Javonte Williams, from what I read. I'm a Niner fan too, so Mitchell's a hedge against my Super Bowl. That's hilarious. Yeah. What a time to be a Niners fan. So, which QB are you rooting for? Are you a Purdy fan? Are you a Trey Lance fan? Do they trade one? Because it seems like Purdy with the UCL tear in his elbow, 3 months until he can throw the ball again. So, I think that opens up the window for Trey Lance to come back and take the job over, but again, I roll my ankle, and I feel that a year later. Trey Lance broke his ankle and had 2 surgeries. So, is he gonna be able to rush the ball? That's where his upside comes from. Yeah, that's beautiful. Talk about falling right in the pocket. Sam Howell, he's got Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Dotson. I love that. I love that. His 3 QBs, which is needed, and he got correlation, so good work, good work. This is not a typical squad for me. I wanted so the Lamb pick, the Bears pick, we could have also gone Goff if we didn't get Dak. So the Amon-Ra Jameson kind of opened us up to go Dak as well, so we had a lot of options with stacks. I love that we have Purdy drafting the 7th on a rookie deal, yeah, costing nothing. I hate that we trade a ridiculous amount for Trey Lance. True, but it was sort of unexpected that Purdy can come in and absolutely dominate. I think he had, like, 19 fantasy points a game on average. So, that just attributes to coaching, really good coaching, a strong run game, strong O-line, playmakers everywhere with Kittle, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, like, talk about a perfect situation to fall into. Now, the coaches and play calling is what makes it work. This is a great pick here. Nice little upside for your RB room. I like that pick. I like the wide receivers, I like the tight ends. Good at QB, got Pittsburgh stacks. I'm liking this correlation. I'm liking this correlation, guys. Doing a good job. Penny falls to the team that Penny should fall to. He needs a high upside running back, and it's his number 4. I love that. I love that. A lot of these players, right, they can be bad picks just based on what team they're going to and what players you have. So the fact that, like, you guys can identify what players fit with what teams and correlations, nice, nice. I'm excited for middle of the summer drafts where we have all the returning people, 'cause the people on Underdog right now are all the sickos that just really haven't stopped looking into fantasy football, sickos like ourselves, and everyone's still up to date. That being said, usually there's 1 or 2 teams that go rogue and have no idea what they're doing. Like, we have 6 running backs and only 4 receivers, and it's round 17. Antoine 5, I think he paid the rate. He might be a baseball or basketball guy because these last 4 picks all have to be receiver, and yeah, they all have to be able to get into the lineup. I don't mind the Woods pick there. We'll see where he ends up. Jelani Woods, 10 picks before ADP, definitely was gonna be in our wheelhouse. Juwan Johnson, touchdown magnet, good tight end 2 for this team. I'm assuming Air Force will go with 3 tight ends. Just gonna go back-to-back picks. We need at least 1 running back. We can go receiver if we like the range, or tight end. Okay. So since tight ends are flying off the board, let's see which one makes the most sense. Probably Hunter Henry, just because of us already having a rookie tight end, typically start off slower, and I think we'll go Kendre Miller here. Our first rookie on this team. Wow, surprising. Typically, I have more. I appreciate you, Cap. I appreciate you. You guys made this one tough on me, like, pick 12, I haven't had any receivers just, like, really fall in my lap. Even here, if I don't reach for Amon-Ra here, my team's out. Like, my team is dead. So the fact that this early in the draft, where I didn't even really know yet that we were gonna be wide receiver heavy, that saved me. It gave me kind of a chance. Zamir White, beautiful pick with the unknown with Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs moves on, now I think Las Vegas has to bring in another running back, but Zamir White, 6 feet, 215, 210, pretty ideal size for a running back. Uh, he would be going a whole hell of a lot earlier, probably in front of Cordell Patterson, so we're talking like 3 rounds. And that's the unknown and high upside players that we wanna target. Marvin Mims can be someone we're interested on the way back around. Talk about dreaming for us. Dreaming. Yeah, 100%. I need more of him. I need more of him. Marshall. Yeah, so that's his 6th wide receiver. It's sort of rough. Everyone can thank him for paying the rake. Mac Hollins, someone we're gonna be interested on the way back around. Someone I almost took here at 205. Alright, So it's gonna be between let's see if I even go do I need another running back, or do I need 2 receivers? I think I need another running back. I guess it'll depend who's there. If the value's not there, we won't do anything crazy. I think Nathaniel Dell is interesting. I have a lot of him. I'm starting to cool off, though. He's like 165 pounds, gonna be a true slot guy. He had success working on the outside in college, but I don't think that's gonna happen in the NFL. Dude, NF42, an absolute legend in the streets. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate the love. Your teams are always strong. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Yeah, we've been drooling over your squad this whole time, so go back and watch that. Cooper Kupp, Waddle, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, Dalton Schultz, Danny Dimes, Rashad White, Isaiah Hodgins, correlation with Danny Dimes, Gainwell, Everett, Raheem Mostert, Allen Robinson, who should have a role this season. I feel like people are forgetting. Isaiah McKenzie, Mac Hollins. Maybe he ends up on a different squad. Maybe he ends up in like KC, Baltimore, something like that. Ben has Chase, Brees Hall, Burrow, Drake London, JSN, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, David Njoku, Brian Robinson, Pat Fryermuth, Tyler Boyd, Elijah Mitchell, Kenny Pickett, Tyquan Thornton, Rashid Shaheed. I like these 2 picks right here. I think that really made this team strong. Jalen Warren, yeah, Johnson, Anthony Richardson. Is that what number QB? Number 3. I'm fine with it with rushing upside. Dwayne McBride, who I like as a prospect, super strong. Jerome Ford. So interesting. You have what's his face going to free agency, Dearness Johnson. And right now, that would make Jerome Ford the RB2 behind our man Nick Chubb. Now that's if Kareem Hunt also moves on, which is expected. So this is an interesting ad. Someone after free agency, if Kareem Hunt moves on, along with Johnson, Dearness Johnson, someone that'll fly up draft boards. Those are the players we're trying to target. Value. Damn. 106 draft. Yeah, you can definitely tell. Um, you're definitely finding your wheelhouse on all the picks, so you can tell. This is our 35th draft, and after draft 5 is where I realized where I noticed 'cause I've gone back, sort of, like, ranked my teams. That's what I've noticed that, I started doing a lot more research with the rookies and dabbling with a couple rookies in each squad. If Kenny's here, we'll go Kenny. I think this is someone that will be valued a little more in the NFL guys with his pass catching ability, and someone that I think that can fly up draft boards pretty quick, depending on where he's drafted and what team, obviously. Do I just go to Daniel Bell again? I like Marvin Mims here. At Perry's interesting. Ty Scott's interesting. Bring in 2 prospects. Was Devontae Parker off the board too? Yeah, Devontae Parker was off the board. Someone that finished the season strong with two touchdowns. Only getting 1 rookie prospect for wide receivers. That's fine. We ended up with 1 tight end, 2 RBs. Decent team. We're gonna do another one. We're gonna draft 2 more of these. This team for me, I'd probably rank like 4 out of 10. We made it work, but the 12 spot was ugly in this draft. It's really tough. Vapor, welcome to the live stream. We are planning to do a second one and a third one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Desmond Ritter falling to 231. Leo, I don't think you need a 4th QB here. We have Patty Mahomes, you have the upside with Bryce Young. You can definitely stop at 3 and just sort of pump probably a wide receiver in here. High upside rookie. We're betting on Mahomes being the man, right? We're using, our 15th overall pick, so if he busts, it's Mahomes. A bust would be him getting hurt. If he busts, like, you lose anyways, right? Your last round pick at QB, Desmond Ritter's not gonna save the team, so we are betting on Mahomes being that guy. So just use that last round pick on, uh, probably a wide receiver here since you only have 7. But good team overall. You need Zay Flowers to come in and be a wide receiver 1. Ferguson goes at 234, which is something Ben was talking about earlier. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. That makes sense. King's been up all night doing 12-hour shifts, drafting fantasy football teams. Like an absolute sicko. I love it. I'm on pace to max out. I do want, uh, these players at different ADPs, so I'm waiting for a little bit of news to come out doing 2 to 3 a day. I think there's value in drafting early. I think there's also value drafting in the middle after finding out some news, and then at the end. And the best time to do it is right when the news breaks. Right when the news breaks. That's when you have the biggest advantage, and I try to jump into drafts because I just depend on not everyone having that news. Whether it's selecting a player slightly ahead of their ADP in a positive fashion, we think they're gonna drop to 150. Right now, they're drafted at 190, and we get them at 175. Like, you're still getting 2-round value on them. So stuff like that I think is interesting to explore. DeAndre Carter, followed by Russell Gage. Tyler Scott went at 214. Yeah, it's a good draft. Good draft, everybody. You made this extremely tough. Please do not give me the 12th spot in the next one. I don't mind this team. I think we have upside QB. We had our 3 tight ends. We'll do a little countdown. Do a little countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, join. There's only waiting on 2 people, waiting on 1 person, and filled. Sorta unlucky. Hopefully, we got a few of you in here. Ben's drafting right next to me. Chuck Wood, I drafted with last night. NF42, and we got James. Let's go. Talk about a little sandwich here. Look at this. This is gonna be a little sandwich. Hey, if you guys didn't get in this one, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. This is gonna be a sharky one. This is gonna be a sharky one. So James can pretty much guarantee he's not gonna pick a QB or a tight end until the 10th round. You just store that knowledge up here. Just store that knowledge up top. At least he put his goat horns back on. I know during a lot of the BRs, he's been taking them off, smurfing. Yeah. Yeah. What a good yeah, king. You can take my spot, dude. You can take my spot. I wish I was in here. It's cool. It's cool. It'll be fun. Sorta know how James drafts, so that helps. That helps. James with the furry pooch. In this spot, I've typically been getting Tyreek Hill to fall to me. JJ followed by Chase. Standard. What I don't want is Travis Kelce to fall to me. Yeah, yeah, Eagles, James on Twitter, James B. Super strong. He's been posting some of his teams. I'm like, "Man, how'd you end up weak at QB, tight end?" But for the most part, he is a strong drafter. So, he just has his own strategy, which is typically late 3 QBs, late 3 tight ends, which is cool. Alright. I do appreciate you taking Kelsey because I think I would have had to select him there. And just judging off this room, I'm gonna have to go wide receiver early. I I would go I would go Eckler, mix in Eckler and Diggs here, but this room specifically, I want my wide receivers. I want my wide receivers early. I 100% agree with AJ Brown over Devontae Adams, especially with the unknown right now with Devontae Adams. I'm completely on board with that. Here comes the Devontae Adams pick. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Kelsey's someone that I like in the 18 round drafts. His value would be a lot more in 18 rounds, but with 20 rounds, we can sort of make up the points at tight end by drafting 3. But when he falls to 6, 7, 8, I have no problem with you drafting him there. He's been the highest scoring tight end, what, 5 of the last 6 years? In that 1 year he wasn't, Mark Andrews was number 1 and he was number 2, so and he still had a crazy good year. James isn't paying attention yet. I'm fine with Eckler at 9. It's really gonna depend on if they can find a running back that will provide value behind Eckler, then Eckler's value could be shot, maybe to the mid-second round, or if they don't, he should be going ahead of Kelce and ahead of Diggs. So, risk reward, we need more information. So, I think I have my 8, 10% of Eckler, which is what you want, someone that can burn you. Low key, great point. I didn't much consider that, but yes, 3 tight end, a lot easier in 20 rounds, to be honest. I didn't start Underdog early enough last year to get 18 rounders. I think they always start with 20 rounds because of the amount of unknown, and then they switch to 18 rounds after the NFL draft. So, that's when we're gonna be fine-tuned already, and we're only gonna have to draft 18 rounds. After being used to drafting for value down here, we're gonna have so much more information too. Yeah, the QBs are falling a little bit. Well, I guess this is ADP. We'll see if they fall. Oh, I know they're going to because he's not picking a QB this early. And even if you are picking a QB, I feel like Mahomes has the least upside of these rushing QBs just on a weekly basis. Now, on average, Mahomes scored more. So, like, I'm fine with Hurts going ahead of Mahomes. I think I'm gonna go Josh Allen here just because I don't have this stack. I'm typically not getting Diggs at 7, so and I'm actually fine going a naked Hurts or a naked Josh Allen. Now, same thing with tight ends, QBs, it's typically going to be easier to make up those points in the 20 round drafts than it is in the 18. In the 18 round drafts, these QBs are worth their price. In 20, it can be argued, we can find value and go 3 QBs. A lot of what what James does. But that being said, week 17, week 16, maybe you need Josh Allen. Maybe you need Jalen Hurts to push you through. Whereas typically he's getting, like, a lot of Carr, Rodgers, and Stafford from what I've seen. Probably have, like, a 25-point ceiling, and that's being generous, whereas these QBs have 40-point ceilings. I think the super flex drafts are always 20 rounds no matter what. That's well, this isn't super flex. This is just 1 QB. Alright, let's pull it up. We got Henry going at 23, right after Breece Hall. We have Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf going at the 2, 3, 10. Oh, Waddle went super early. Waddle went at 15 before Amon-Ra. I think that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that yet. It's not crazy, but Tyler timing out on Kenneth Walker. Is he might be auto drafting, something to keep in mind. Not that matters too much for us. He's on the other side of the draft board. We have a double RB start here. Make that a triple. Make that a triple. Debo, Cup, and Higgins starting 3 wide receivers. Tyreek Hill and Garrett Wilson make that Olave as well, someone that we were going to be interested in. Ben's on the clock, bringing it down to 10 seconds. Are we allowed to curse in the live chat? I don't know. Sure. We'll go D-Hop. Slight reach, but we're not picking for another 10 picks, and I don't wanna be boxed out. You can't fit me in your box. You can't fit me in your box. Yeah, we're doing. Guys, if you haven't already dropped a like on the live stream, please do so. It helps a lot. Subscribe if you like best ball and you want to jump into the draft with us. We'll be going all season long. Stevenson goes at 33, Chubb at 32. Scoop the RB value. James going with the 2 RB build to start the first 3 rounds. We'll see what they do on the way back around here. Joe Burrow going at 35 to the Barkley Jonathan Taylor team. Bijan, Lamb, and let's see the 3-4 turn picks. Amari Cooper and Ridley. Najee, someone that we were going to be looking at on the way back around, goes a little early, goes at 37. All right, we're going to get our wish. We are going to get our wish. We will be wide receiver heavy in this draft. They have some tournaments that come out, sort of like the puppies that will be super flex. Good, good. We'd love to see these QBs coming off the board. Going Watson ahead of Mike Williams, Ridley, and Pittman, I think is interesting. Yeah, we wanted Mike Williams. Tony Pollard's ADP here is really going to depend on if Zeke returns to Dallas. If he doesn't, I think Pollard would go earlier, but then there's the potential that they draft somebody. We're gonna go Ridley here with D Hop, really make it a boomer bust team. Pick 20 and not to the chase team. Yikes. Yikes. Just with the lack of rushing upside, he's not gonna be worth that worth that value. That's gross. Now, maybe it's a team that's only doing 5 or 10 of these or even less, and they really wanted Joe Burrow, and I understand it, but if you're doing, 50, 60 of these, you can get Burrow at 30, 35, 40 sometimes. It's gonna be worth waiting, obviously. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I like the QBs going after Burrow with Lamar and Justin Fields. They have the rushing upside. We've seen Lamar Jackson finish as QB1. Justin Fields just finished with over 1,000 rushing yards, right? So, they can do anything to this O-line or give him another pass catcher. I mean, he's gonna be booming. 60-yard touchdowns, 60-yard touchdown runs, like, insane, insane. So, Ben goes Pittman at 43 as his first wide receiver off the board, JSN at 44. That's a little bit of a reach, huh? About a round and a half. Justin Herbert off the board at 45, Christian Kirk at 46. This team's Chuck's first wide receiver. Tyler gets Terry. Haha, please tilt. Poker player. JJ, Devonta Smith, DK, TJ Hawkinson, and Tony Pollard at 49. George Kittle at 50. I think this is great value for Pollard at this 4 or 5 turn here. London definitely had to be a wide receiver here. Keenan Allen, maybe banking that he's a Charger again next year. Jerry Jeudy off the board that we were gonna be interested in. See what Ben does. He goes Godwin. There's so many running backs on this board that we're just gonna hope that one falls to us. We're gonna get our DJ Moore pick. Have a little tear fall off after DJ Moore here, so sorry if that was a snipe, NF42, if you're still in the chat. He goes Swift. I like Swift this year. I mean, he went into the season last year hurt, separated shoulder, ankle sprain. Yeah, so we see James reaching to get Jameson Williams. I think we're gonna get some RB value to fall to us here. Yeah, Marquise Brown. That's why we went DJ Moore here. Read the room. Gotta read the room. We're gonna do one more after this, like an absolute savage. Do 3 in a row. Then I'll probably draft another one later on my phone. Joe Mixon going at 59. Interesting. I think I have Aaron Jones ahead of Cook and Mixon on my rankings. I'd probably go Gibbs over Mixon. Little risk reward. Nice. So we see another receiver come off the board and a QB. We love that. This team does not have a wide receiver yet. I think that should be it's George Pickens as his first receiver. Hopefully, he can get the volume this year because Pickens has the skill to have a breakout year. It's gonna depend on value, and 62 is a little rich. You're paying for expected results there. Letting one of you guys get high, yeah. Hopefully, it's me this draft. Trying to get as much as I can. If we get Hurts, we would be interested in a Dallas Goedert here. I'll be surprised if that's where NF42 doesn't go. Ooh, this had to be an auto pick. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised we got it. This had to be an auto pick, though. Aaron Jones restructured his contract, going to be a Packer next year. Who isn't a complete degenerate when it comes to underdog and best ball drafts? You draft and you're done. It's the absolute best. You did 5 this morning. Do you guys do slow drafts too, or just the 30 seconds? Because for me, I feel that I have an advantage when I do the 30-second drafts because I don't know, I just have the ability to kind of see what my team needs real quick and adjust on the move. I think that's where my edge is, and I haven't liked a lot of my teams that are the 8-hour drafts. You gotta kinda know what your strong suit is. Yeah, we're coming up in the RB value zone. Love this. 8 picks away. We have Diggs, Hopkins, Ridley, DJ Moore, Josh Allen at QB, Aaron Jones. Typically, the team looks a little weaker when you go QB in the second round, but this is looking pretty good so far. Yeah, NF42 has over 100 drafts already. Yeah, so no one's as big as a DGen as NF42, so I feel good about that. I feel good about that. And NF42, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter if you have one. If not, subscribe to the channel. I'd like to draft more with you. You're an absolute savage. Absolute savage. I know you do those battle royales like we like to do in the regular season, so we can get some of those going too. It's always fun. Yeah, just fast drafts from Vapor. Dobbins off the board at 76. This team has 6 wide receivers. Goes Kamara. Interesting. Your first running back gonna be suspended. Not not the roster construction type running back I would take for this team, but it's okay. I like Treylon Burks in this spot, and he gone. So we'll go Tyler Algier. It's gonna be one or the other, and if they were both there, then we would have had a little toss up. I like Treylon Burks for your squad, Ben. Second-year player, provides some upside, new offensive coordinator. I think you're done at tight end, in my opinion. Strong start. Strong start. I swear I clicked him before I heard you. Okay. Okay. I see what hey, I'll just get you on the way back around, alright? I have 132 drafts finished already. I'll be in the next one with you, Rye. You are a savage. Now I'm curious, are you gonna save your last draft? In my opinion, that's what I would do. I would save it for the last draft for as late as possible, um, till the last, 500 till they fill, and then I would join a slow draft to just kind of squeeze out as much information in the off season as possible. That's what I plan on doing because we know the later it goes, the more the ADPs are gonna change, right? So you're getting the values right now, but the teams will score more points on average the more information we get because we won't be drafting duds, that are gonna end up as the RB3s on some of these teams. We don't know where the rookies are going. Stop. You're finishing it off today. I love that. I love that. You're sick. You're sick. How many do you guys draft at a time? Do you have, like, a maximum of 3, 4, 5? Oh, yeah, Underdog's gonna make a new one, 100%. Maybe the bigger board, 15, $20, 25 entry, we'll see. 4 at a time. Okay. I think my sweet spot's 3. If I'm truly trying to plan ahead, read every single room, I like James Conner there. If we get back-to-back snipes, that'd be mean. I wanted James Cook. Wanted James Cook for the Buffalo correlation. It's a great pick. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll bring in a Zay Flowers here. We have a lot of running back value that's gonna fall if we so choose, but wide receivers, I'm not reaching up for a Myers in this situation because what does Myers do for this squad? I don't think it I don't think he does a lot. Um, this is a high upside squad, so we're looking for players that can spike into it. I think Myers is that floor guy. Yeah, one so you start one in the last 2, 3 rounds of another. I agree, like, 2 to 3 is where my brain starts to max out, is I like to read the room, go into here and see, "Alright, this guy's got 6 receivers. Is anyone going crazy amount of QBs?" Yeah, Cooper sorta is. Burrow, Fields, and Watson, where you could typically stop after these 2. So it's something to take note of, but we already have our QB, so, like, we don't care. If a team does go 6, 7 QBs, honestly, that would just help us in this situation. But it's good to be able to read the room. Are they going wide receiver heavy? Are running backs falling down the draft? As you can see, like, tight ends are starting to eh, it's pretty much at ADP. So, it's pretty much at ADP this draft so far. But in some drafts, you'll see maybe tight ends start to be ignored or QBs. Let's see how you guys' squads are coming out. NF42 with AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Chubb, Mike Williams, Leonard Swift, Goddard, Gabe Davis, and Cook. Ben with Travis Kelce, Mahomes. I like that. ETN, Michael Pittman, Godwin, Kyle Pitts, Treylon Burks, and of course, he grabs his guy. All in. I hope he has a great season. He will be advancing probably at a 40% rate. What's that? Are you have to be close to 50%, and it's not like you reach. Yeah, you pretty much you got him basically at ADP. 6, 7 picks is fine. Come on, let's get these QBs off the board. Ben with 3 receivers, probably looking to beef up this wide receiver room. Goes Khalil Herbert. We're going to bring in our third running back with Rashad White. Second-year guy should get an increased role, someone that can catch the ball out of the backfield. We'll see what happens with Lenny. Myers off the board. Now, for NF42 score, we have Mike Williams, boom or bust, Gabe Davis, boom or bust. Jacoby Myers is the perfect fit because he is the floor guy. So I like that for his roster construction. Yeah, you should get the college jersey. I want wide receivers, but the value, yeah, there's not a lot of values to find here at wide receiver. James has to be on auto pick, right? He has to be on auto pick. Not having any Miami Dolphin wide receiver and getting Tua, not having any Jacksonville receivers and going Trevor Lawrence and both of those picks timed out. We're hoping one of these receivers falls to us. I don't understand the Juju. Can someone explain to me Juju at 107? Are you guys picking him in this range? Because I think I have 0 Juju at this point. Let's double check. Yeah, I have 0 Juju in this range. Like, I don't even love Zay Jones in this range, but I have Zay Jones on 1 or 2 Trevor Lawrence teams. I think it's a little less egregious when you pair the 2 with correlation. Yeah. Hell to the no, no, no meme. Sing it loud. Trey Lance going at 109. Brandon Cooks going at 110. I'm praying Juju. If James is on auto draft, if he is, he's getting Jalen Hyatt. E e e e. Worst case, we can reach down for a Josh Downs. Reach down for a Josh Downs. There we go. I don't really wanna reach on Dawson Knox. I think that's super mediocre. What happened to 2 auto drafts and you get put to autopilot? It used to be after 2 picks, go all the way down. Maybe he's there. So we are getting Jalen Hyatt. Interesting. He's gonna be an absolute burner. He's that type player. An auto draft sicko. I know, and you just know it's not him doing 3 QBs at this point. Like, it can't be, right? He might just have his ranking set up, which I suggest everyone does because I think it sets you to, like, 6 QBs, 10 running backs, 10 receivers, and, like, 4 tight ends. I suggest you go in there and just change it to 3 QBs, 7 running backs, 10 receivers, and 3 tight ends. Just in the odd case that you do get, bumped offline or whatever the case may be, it is good to have that. I think 2 of my 497 drafts last year were complete auto drafts. One, I think I fell asleep completely, and the other one was just an emergency. So have those set, you'll raise your chances. Why is it so hard to set rankings? You gotta click plus for every single player. It's only 230 plus clicks, not to mention the tinkering. Tinker, tinker. Constant, constant, constant. All right, let's see who's coming back around. So we see 4 QBs go off the board here with an Elijah Moore pick. So he pairs Danny Dimes with Bryce Young. He only has 4 receivers, but I think that's okay. You'll probably need 10 receivers. 3 receivers. Okay, he gets his 4th. I'm not a big fan of that, where we have to start 3 wide receivers every single week, plus the bye weeks. You typically wanna have 5 receivers in the first 10 rounds. Where Ben has 4, but he does have 2 upside tight ends that can fill into the flex spot, I'm also fine with that. That's not egregious. So we get Dawson Knox to fall to us, and we're comfortable picking him here. Get a little correlation with Buffalo. Just let it fall right into your lap. It's not a hard game, you know? Just let it fall. 5 wide receivers by round 8 for King. It's not wrong. I'm just saying the minimum that I'm comfortable with is I want 5 by round 10. I think that's the minimum. Now where you go Kelsey, it gives you an advantage, right? Because then you can pick a lot more receivers down here. You can stop at 2 tight ends. I like the Josh Downs and Treylon Burks pick. Then you gotta start hammering the receivers. But yeah, especially when you go tight end and QB, interesting to try to come back and see what your wide receiver room looks after selecting those 2. 5 wide receivers through 5. Let's go. I love it. I'm here for it. We did 5 wide receivers here through no, we did 4 through 5. And then I think we got into a range where right here, this could have been a Tyler Lockett, but instead we get our first running back off the board, which I'm fine with. But if we didn't, let's say this is Tyler Lockett, right? We come back around, we get a Tyler Algier. We come back around, we get a Zach Carbonet. So would we rather Aaron Jones and Zay Flowers, or would we rather Tyler Lockett and Zach Carbonet? Is it that's gotta be like a Carbonet. I like to say Carbonet. Let me know what the saying is, what the pronunciation is. But I'm curious, what would you prefer? Zay and Aaron or Lockett and Zach? And that's how you can kinda go back and see if you made a small mistake or what you would do in the future. Right here, we're gonna be looking at, like, a Wan'Dale Robinson or Elijah Mitchell. Those are gonna be my 2 favorites left in this range. I like Kayshon too, but where we just picked 2 rookie wide receivers and we know they start a little slow, I think we should get someone that is getting targets right away. Alright, so it falls to us. We can kinda make our pick, whatever we wanna do here. It's definitely not gonna be a tight end. It's gonna be one of these 2. Let's go wide receiver here, and let's put the spotlight on Ben, who loves Elijah Mitchell, but he needs receivers. He has 2 QBs already and 2 tight ends. Let's see what he does. We have advance wars going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs in the last 5 rounds, starting with 6 wide receivers. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see what's left for QBs because he's gonna want 3. So what's his QB room gonna look like? Staffy? He has no Cup. He goes CJ Stroud. Maybe he ends up in New Orleans. Maybe he ends up a Jet. That'd be that'd require some trades. Good team for so he has a rookie as his QB1. You know they start a little slow, so I'm expecting he picks up either Mac Jones or Sam Howell, or even a Kenny Pickett or Staffy on the way back around. I'm also fine with him going like a late round after you get your returning QB. I'm fine with like an Anthony Richardson who has rushing upside too for the end of the season. Charbonnet. Interesting. I butchered it, obviously. Obviously, I butchered it. Michael Thomas goes at 143. Fell, right? Yeah. He fell about 16 spots. I'm fine with picking him here at like 140 plus, especially for this roster too. Michael Thomas makes sense for this roster. If he hits or if you're playing on him hitting, this he's good here. So it makes sense for that construction. We're gonna be looking at running back or wide receiver here. You can go either way. Sky Moore off the board, so the Patty Mahomes team. I like that pick from you a lot, Ben. Good pick. Let's get Antonio Gibson, who should still have a role in this offense. Get some more touches in this backfield. It's looking better now. It's looking better. So hard to not take Elijah Mitchell there, and that's where yeah, no, the value definitely fell for you for Mitchell, but you just couldn't take him because he didn't have the receiver, so sometimes that happens. You made the right call. You made the right call. I like the Sky Moore pick. Correlation with Kelsey, Mahomes. I like that a lot. If we needed a receiver, we were interested in an Alec Pierce. He's like our go-to guy in this range, and I'm glad to see NF42 doing the same. Oh, yeah. We got a lot of exposures to these guys, so I feel better about it. NF42, the absolute god at battle royales. Similar thoughts. That's reassuring. It's reassuring. Let's see. JK Cooper. What's this squad looking like? JT, Saquon, Burrow, Fields. So he picks his first wide receiver as Pickens, Quentin Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Romeo Dobbs, KJ Osborne. He has Lenny, Joe Mixon, Barkley, and JT at running back. His running backs are solid. His QB is obviously solid, but Deshaun Watson probably should have been a receiver. Like if that's a Dotson or Bateman, Traylon Burks, Gabe Davis, like his team's looking a whole hell of a lot stronger. Just my thought. Noah Brown. Isn't that's gotta be a reach, right? That has to be a reach. Dude, 82 spots. 82 spots. He couldn't have got Noah Brown next round. He needed him now. with the Dak with the Dak pick. He really needed that correlation because people were planning on taking Noah Brown in the 14th or 15th. Oh, dear God, that had to be an auto pick. That had to be an auto pick. Give him the benefit of the doubt. That's funny. You do enough of these, you see some crazy shit. Here comes the auto pick, Kenny Pickett. James just donating. Being on auto pick is, hey, maybe he had an emergency. Or maybe he's doing multiple of these at the same time, and he's selecting the player he wants real quick and jumping to the next one. He could always be doing that as well. I could go on Damian Harris here. Let me double check. Yep, we're going Damian Harris. I think it's interesting with the teams that just did 1 QB last year too, that moved on with just Josh Allen or just a Patrick Mahomes, just drafting just 1 stud QB. I don't like it as much in the 20 rounds, but in the 18 rounds, that is another strategy that I've seen that's very interesting with these players that have high floors. Where you're obviously gonna take 1 strike at the bye week, but it gives you another high upside player to pick late too. We'll see who falls at QB. I think Tannehill's gonna get 1 more shot this year with the new OC. Tannehill, Ritter, Richardson probably goes like this, just in order, ADP for favorites. So we'll see who falls. I'm not going 1 QB in these 20 round drafts. You sniped Damian Harris from me. I don't love Renfro, but good value. Let me take a look at your squad because I think Renfro might actually fit. Yeah, Renfro's gonna give you that floor that you're gonna need while these rookies catch up too. So I don't mind that. Godwin and Pittman should also provide good floors, and these rookies hopefully give you some upside at the end of the season. That's the way I see it. Vapor, I tried it last night with Allen, but then Tannehill fell to me in round 20. Yep. Yeah, I like that a lot. Tannehill sneakily has upside in the rushing game. Um, Now it's been 2 years since we've seen it. This 270 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns in 2021. In 2020, if you look, he had very similar rushing yards and touchdowns, 6, 7 rushing touchdowns, and that actually provides, like, a really good floor. So Tannehill got hurt last year. He had Malik Willis come in, and it wasn't good. So I think that Tannehill's gonna get. Chat is very active. Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you're learning a thing or 2. Learn from our mistakes, take some of the tips that we got, and just kinda take the information, make it your own. Tim Patrick going at 169. That another 25 pick reach, so 2 rounds. If you're high on him, that's fine. I've just I've got a lot of Tim Patrick at, like, pick 200, so that's gonna depend on if Judy's there or not. If Judy isn't a Bronco next year or if they move on from, like, Sutton too, one of the 2, this is his range. So you need that to happen in order for this to really make sense, in my opinion. And maybe it does. Maybe it does. But if you guys are new to the live stream, please drop a like on it. It helps the channel tremendously. Get some new faces in here. We appreciate you. If you like best ball and you draft these underdog best balls like us, like absolute sickos this early in the season, drop a sub. We'll try to get you in the next one. Party goes at 173 with CJ Stroud. Super, super risky. Send it. Send it. 4 rookie running backs. So, yeah, I think this team's close to dead with no tight end. So he's gonna be weak at tight end, he's gonna be weak at QB. You can't be weak in multiple places. If you wanna be weak in one spot, that's fine. I've been drafting a lot of Mechie over. Let's see. I'm not interested in these tight ends. Really not. I'd rather get a wide receiver here. Let's go Nico Collins, and let's see who's on the board on the way back around. So this is gonna be 9 9 receivers, 6 running back, 3 tight end, 2 QB squad. Hopefully that math adds up. That'd be that'd be Akko Taco. Cordell Patterson going at 176. Should have a role, and he's that boom bust player. Still, they were using him in the red zone at the end of the season too, in really a run first offense. So I like Cordell Patterson at this ADP. I mean, I think it's a good value, especially if you're going like a 0 RB or 2 running back or team 1 hero RB. I think Cordell Patterson fits because he's gonna get touches. Gerald Everett with Cole Kmet and Taysom Hill. Again, not a lot of correlation. 4 wide receivers. Like, he has to be on auto pick, right? He has to be. There's no way James is just drafting 4 wide receivers and it's pick 179, right? I hope. I hope. Jaylen Warren going at the 15, 16 turn. Stricken with NF42. Cordell Patterson, Kenny Pickett, Alec Pierce, Greg Dulcich, Palmer, DPJ, Myers, James Cook, Gabe Davis, Goddard, Swift, Mike Williams, Chubb. He has Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. Beautiful. Ben has the Kelsey Mahomes stack with Sky Moore later. He has ETN, Michael Pittman, Godwin, Kyle Pitts, Traylon Burks, Zach Charbonnet. We have Khalil Herbert, Josh Downs, Russell Wilson, Kayshawn, Sky, Hunter Renfrow, and Zach Evans, who I like at this ADP. It's a nice looking team. Okay, so 2 of the tight ends that we like are off the board. I'd be fine with the Zach Ertz if he falls, someone that should have pretty good upside come week 15, 16, 17 if he's healthy. Should start slow to the season due to the ACL, MCL surgery. And he's gone. And he's gone. It's like the South Park meme. And it's gone. All aboard the Nico Collins train. Chew, chew, chew. Manifesting first pick next draft. If you could just put me at number 2, I'm not asking a lot. Thielen goes at 184. I mean, I'm fine with like any of these 3. I'm suspecting that Ben goes McCole Hardman for the KC stack. I think that's a good, yeah. So Thornton goes. We'll bring in Khalil Shakur, get some correlation with Josh Allen, and I think we're done at receiver here. I like this team. I like that wide receiver group. I'm liking the running back group too. I'd like to add a rookie prospect to this team. But this is gonna depend where Damian Harris goes, right? Like, this could be an absolute steal at 162, or he might be playing behind someone, we won't know. So, I think that's someone that you want around market value, 8% right now, otherwise, you're risking the value slipping. Allen Robinson instead of McCole Hardman. I don't mind it. McCole Hardman is that boom bust player that will be good for, uh, best ball in my opinion, but with the injuries also Allen Robinson had injuries, so tomato, tomato. I'd probably just go McCole Hardman for the correlation. Mechie off the board at 190. That's a good value there, and it makes sense for that squad too. Mac Jones off the board finally at 194. Kendrick Miller, someone that we were gonna be interested in. Yeah. Let's see, maybe Ben gets McCole Hardman on the way back around. Did he plot this all in his head? Did he plot this perfectly? McCole Hardman gonna fall right into his lap? I mean, this guy needs tight ends, right? 3 QBs, 7 running backs, 6 wide receivers. He's an absolute wild card and goes another running back and lets Ben get Hardman. Damn, damn. Yeah, I like that. You brought the wide receiver group back. Alright, we're gonna get our rookie prospect here. Welcome to the running back room here. I think that's a perfect ad with this construction. If he misses, who cares? We should still be able to place. Now we need tight ends. We need tight ends. We need a QB. Let's see how many snipes happen now. A-Rob red zone magnet. Yeah, I mean, LA's last year was a wash, right? It's an absolute wash. NF42 grabbing Zamir White with the potential of Josh Jacobs not returning to Vegas. I like it. I like it. He's one of our favorite late round RBs as well. Then it kinda falls off here, right? Like, here's a good these 2 are good rookie prospects. We know what Jeff Wilson is at this point. Does Miami bring in a running back, though? It's gonna strongly depend whether Jeff Wilson's even drafted here. Pierre Strong, does Damian Harris move on? Maybe Pierre Strong is a good value, so I think he's interesting as well. Eric Gray, people are high on. Jerome Ford, if Dearness Johnson and Kareem Hunt move on, being the RB2 behind Nick Chubb is interesting. And it's gonna be awesome to see these values and how they change in free agency and the NFL draft. Just tells you how much a team believes in them. You know, are they gonna keep Hunter Renfrow as the wide receiver 2 over there? Like Matt Collins, did they release him? We'll find out a lot in free agency and then the NFL draft. Some of these tight end values that are falling, I mean, give me 2 of these guys, and I'm happy. One of these QBs. This is what we're looking at. In no specific order. Pierre Strong goes at 205. Let's call it a planned maneuver. Yeah, you set that one up. You knew someone was gonna take Robinson in this range, and that's why you took him. That's why you took Robinson. Master plan. Master plan, Ben. Master plan. Robert Woods, released by Tennessee today. I mean, wherever he goes, he should be able to be a wide receiver 3. Bobby Trees. That'll depend on landing spot. So I'm fine with him now at 206 being freed from Tennessee rather than before on a run first offense in Tennessee. And when the pregnant wife calls, you answer the phone. I'll be right back. 15 seconds, fellas. And so we meet again. Tight ends. We already have Knox. Let's get a little upside here. Pass catching tight end coming into this year's draft. Widely viewed as a wide receiver type build, and it'll depend where he goes. Imagine if he ends up on like a tight end needy team like Detroit or even the Chargers with Gerald Everett getting old over there. But the speculative ad. Everett's gonna be 29 this June. Jelani Woods goes at 214, so we had a run at tight end. Michael Carter off the board at 216. I'm not drafting a lot of cards. The role we saw Zonovan Knight take when Breece Hall went down, and obviously, if Breece Hall can stay healthy, I'm just not sure how much upside Carter gives you. If you guys like Carter, let me know in the chat if that takes off in your opinion. I've been fading Carter. And in my opinion, this is sort of what you should be doing, unless you can pair another QB at a value with your receivers. If you're going QB in that second round, I don't like to pick a QB until late and let's scoop some value at running back and wide receiver in between. Like, this is a mean wide receiver room. What sucks is Henry's ADP used to be so much used to be like a 235. It used to be a get him every single draft. Conklin and Henry both falling. So let's see. 3 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends. I should be able to go QB here. I should be able to go QB here. But it's too risky. It's too risky because if these 2 tight ends fall off the board for whatever reason, we're gonna be in a pickle with just Knox and Kincaid. So, where I think I may have been able to get away with going QB here, just the small chance that these 2 guys are gone, I think we're in a pickle, and the squad is gross without the 3rd tight end. So, let's see if one of these QBs falls back to us. I'm not as high on a Cade Otton or Robert Tonyan, Alberto Irv Smith. I know we have some other options down here, but Hunter Henry, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year under Bill O'Brien. Matt Collins, I like his late round pick. Definitely a different styled team from James. Way to bring it back. Gotta check on Eagles team. Salute for paying the rake. I'm not convinced that he was on auto pick unless he set his rankings and he set his team. I mean, he's let every single draft go down to the last second. I've seen him do that before. So I'm curious if he has it set and he's just doing these auto drafts with his preset rankings. But man, I've seen a few teams like this from him, and it's just like they're just not my favorite. Doesn't mean it won't work, right? Just not my favorite. Like, no rookie running backs, no rookie wide receivers. It's just pretty much like a safe team where I feel like right now is where we can be getting the values that you're not gonna be able to get in another month. Yeah, I paid your friend to go in there and disrupt you, so better than I thought. Yeah, he did bring it back. He did bring it back as wide receiver, but again, I don't think the team without a rookie is gonna be the one that wins it. I think you're gonna get some crazy values down here, and you kinda have to take your shots. Like on a Marvin Mims, I'd love that for his squad right here. Is what it is. It is what it is. I like Ryan Tannehill here. I think he has a higher rushing upside, but enough way too decides to go 3 QBs, which I think he will. We're fine with the Desmond Ritter. We expect Josh Allen to carry this squad. Yeah. Let's see him get back to these numbers right here in rushing. He's gonna get one more shot at being the starter in Tennessee. So this is the final team. Diggs, Josh Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Ridley, DJ Moore, Aaron Jones, Tyler Algier, Zay Flowers, Rashad White, Jalen Hyatt, Knox, Wendell Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Damian Harris, Nico Collins, Khalil Shakur. We got Rashawn Johnson, Dalton Kincaid, Hunter Henry, and our last pick, Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I like it. I like the team. I think that went relatively well. Ben's team, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, EDN, Pittman, Godwin, Pitts, Treylon Burks, Zach Carbonet, got Khalil Herbert, Josh Downs, Russell Wilson, Kayshon Boutte, Sky Moore, Hunter Renfrow, Zach Evans, Allen Robinson, McCole Hardman, Sam Howell, Hassan Haskins, and CE. So another strong team. I'm just not convinced you have to go Sam Howell when you have Patrick Mahomes, but again, it's 20-round drafts, so it's not it's not the worst thing. In the 18-round drafts, you're gonna wanna cap at 2 QBs when you pick one of those top 5 guys, but in 20 rounds, it gives you a little more freedom. So I'm gonna jump into one more, but first, gonna need a quick so be back here in 1 minute, and we'll try to get as many of you in the next draft as possible. I'm hoping to get at least 3 or 4 of you guys in there, and, yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back in the flesh, and we're about to start up draft delivery. Let me just title that last one with the people that were in it. I like to keep a little date track of when they're drafted just in case we find out one of you wins it. It'd be cool to go back and see the live stream of what you guys did. I think that's super interesting. Here it is. All right, do a quick countdown. You're waiting in 4 lobbies. You're an absolute sicko. So after I click this, you gotta click another enter button, so don't get excited. It's a nice little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Waiting on 2 people and full. Kinda unlucky. We'll see who's in it. Hey, we got the 2 spot. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, so we got some familiar faces. Love to see it. The king is in the draft, NF42, the absolute Battle Royale killer, and TB Bucks. If you also got in and you're new, let me know. Oh, we got Bry at the 5 spot. Let me know where you're at. NF42, an absolute savage. Bry at 5. Biha. I'm so excited to be at 2. Oh, man. This is my chance. This is my chance to get chased. It's been such a struggle, like it's alright, it's all variance, and we're still early into it, only 36 drafts, so there's time to make up for it. That filled up quick, man, I missed the lag was crazy, I knew it should have been quicker. It's alright, there's gonna be a lot more drafts in the future, so do not worry. Do not worry at all. Felt pretty standard so far until the cup goes at 3, which is believable. I mean, he was on a crazy pace last year before they threw him Staffy and Cup, so he should be healthy. They would've returned him at the end of the season if they were in the playoff hunt and Stafford wasn't hurt and the whole team wasn't out. Cup was good to return, so but him turning 30, does that change anything? I don't I don't really think so, like, I still think he's a top 5, 6 guy in every draft. Same thing with Kelsey at his age. Um, Kelsey a little less in the 20 rounds, but when it comes down to the 18 rounds. No idea what I'm doing wrong, can't join these. Yeah, when I joined, there was only 2 spots left, so it filled super fast. Sorry about that. We'll get you in one, don't worry. That's why you need to be in 4 lobbies. That's an interesting strategy, or at least just 2, and then you can always back out of the second one, as long as it doesn't fill super fast. Vapor, we'll catch you later. Thank you for joining the live stream. Always fun to have you in the chat. AJ Brown off the board before Devontae Adams. That's NF42 second time doing that, and I agree with that. I 100% agree. Brian taking Tyreek Hill before Kelsey. I'm doing this as well. CeeDee Lamb off the board at 11 because he saw the value at running back. He's gonna get at least one of these 3 if he so wishes. So I agree on Lamb going here ahead of JT. Typically, we see a double RB start. Yeah, very typical. Pairing Barkley with Lamb, sort of like what we said. Waddle going at 15 before Monra. All right. Second person to do that today. St. Brown going at 16 instead of pairing him with Jalen Hurts this time, trying something different. Garrett Wilson off the board at 17 to the one and only. Sindaflod's like, what did I get myself into? He's in between some absolute animals. Tough draft spot where I'm over here sitting in between Handjob Wigglesworth and Omar. I mean, that's what HJ has to stand for, right? HJ Wigglesworth, it's gotta be. No doubt in my mind. Patty Mahomes going to the Travis Kelce squad. Brian with an interesting decision here. Goes Kenneth Walker. Wizzo with CMC. Goes Brees Hall. Not worried about the ACL tear. RB start. I'm thinking of Derrick Henry in this spot, and then I can bring it back with one of these 2 receivers. And this is only the second time I've drafted Henry, and we know he has the capabilities to put up a 180-yard game, 2 touchdowns, so I like DK over Debo. So what do we got? I'm down for another one after this. I would be if the wife wasn't gonna kill me, pregnant wife, we got 6 weeks left until the thing pops, so we gotta spend some time with her when she gets home from work. Let's keep them going and max this joint. I wish I could. And we'll have draftathons where we're doing 10 hours straight. It's gonna be on the right day. Alright, let's see what we got. Followed by DK, we had Nick Chubb go off the board at 27, Chris Olave, 28, and Josh Jacobs to the Mahomes, Travis Kelce team, still putting off wide receiver. I think Burrow right here is such a trap. Like, if you don't have one of the 2 pass catchers, right? Like, I understand you can go Tyler Boyd late, you can go Hayden Hurst late, but does that provide any, like, real upside for week 17? I don't know. ELB says, "Screw your opinion, I'm going Jay Burrow." At 32, so he does fall 5 picks. I just like the QBs that have the running upside that go a little later. This is something to take note. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts at the 2-3 turn. So if he goes another QB, we might have someone going rogue. You took my DK pick. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's gonna be one of many, I'm sure. Lamar going at the 3-4 turn, followed by TJ Hawk, the Hawk. He was 1 pick away from getting the Mark Andrews Lamar stack, which would have been nice. Justin Fields off the board at 38. DeAndre Hopkins. I like this start at receiver with a high upside running back, especially if they release Harris. Does anyone think 37 for Amari Cooper is too soon? Am I the only one that thinks it's a little soon? Now he falls 3 picks here. But if you go Amari Cooper, you're pretty much betting on Deshaun Watson, right? So it depends on if you think he's gonna actually look like an NFL quarterback this season. I'm fine with getting one of these 2. Omar, you can decide for me. I would probably prefer Pittman because, I mean, really, this is what my draft board's gonna look like here. So if I can get 2 of these. So we're gonna go Najee here, assuming that we'll get one of these 2 wide receivers. I like Najee this year, but at this ADP, I still just haven't been getting a lot of him. Oof, I thought he was gonna pick both Pittman and DJ Moore from thin air. We'll bring DJ Moore aboard. Alright. Amari Cooper's good in best ball, less highly coveted, yeah. I don't know. It's in my opinion, I'd rather just have DPJ going much later at 113. I think there's just a slight premium. Now there's in cash games, I would avoid Amari Cooper altogether, but in tournaments where he has that capability to spike, it's not a good idea to completely, fade him, in my opinion, because maybe he's the guy that, has a big week 17, week 16, week 15 and pushes you forward. So that's the way I look at it. If you have it in their realm of possibilities, you're not gonna wanna fade them. Najee has it in his realm of possibilities to have a 2 touchdown game just with the volume. Henry obviously can break off a long run, and I like our wide receiver so far. So far, so good. It's all going to plan. TV Bucks grab Gibbs. He has Hopkins, Ramondre Stevenson, all in the bottoms. That start at 42, Ajay Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Travis Etienne, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy. Beautiful. ELB in the live stream has Eckler, Garrett Wilson, Joe Burrow, Mike Williams, and Drake London. I like that start a lot. So the wide receivers are starting to get scooped up. See 4 going in a row right here. Aaron Jones, which I love the value on, bringing him in as his RB2. We have Kyle Pitts off the board, so we're getting an even build from ELB. Brandon Ayuk off the board at 66. 5 picks for you. Not bad, not bad. Not a huge reach. Javonte Williams following 5 picks. Dobbins at 69, much on ADP. Few things we can do here. We can grab Dallas Goedert and only go 2 tight ends. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Not a huge fan of where Pierce is going this year. I'm gonna have 8% of him, but maybe something like this. We're gonna bring in Treylon Burks. Let's shoot for the moon. Get some more upside here in the receiver room where we just spent on tight end. I think it'd be awkward to go another running back here. Balance. Balance. I hate my draft. He says, "Roast me." Bonner Brian. So, Tyreek Hill, Kenneth Walker, Deebo, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence. What's there to roast? What's there to roast? You got correlation with Trevor Lawrence and Ridley. Deebo is a boomer bust guy, which is fine. Tyreek Hill, you brought in a second-year guy in Kenneth Walker. If he can stay healthy, this is a great spot for him. Javonte Williams might be a great player if he can stay healthy too. Another year removed. Well, his ACL tear was a little worse than Breece Hall's, so we'll see. Might have a slow start, but he's had time to recover. And you really just want the production for week 15, 16, 17. That's where the money is. So as long as you can pass the lineup through, I think this is a great draft. So keep it up. The first 5, 6, 7 rounds are easy. You make or break your lineups. Uh, you make or break them in the later rounds, right? So TB Bucks, you're welcome to the live stream, my man. You were in the live stream yesterday as well. I don't even think you noticed, but welcome. We're all doing just dandy. This is the 3rd draft, 3 of 3. And your teams always end up strong. So we like drafting against the talent here. You have Devontae Adams, Waddle, Stevenson, DeAndre Hopkins, Jahmyr Gibbs, your elite prospect, Jameson Williams going into year 2, and Cam Akers. So very, very similar to us, going wide receiver, running back heavy. See what you do at QB. Zay Flowers off the board at 85. It's a little early, right? Yeah, about 12 picks, 1 round. I love the guy's tape. Absolutely love Zay Flowers' tape. It's just where is he gonna end up, right? Because if he ends up in New England, which New England's already talking to him, he's a BC guy, kinda kills his fantasy football upside, in my opinion. That a boy. Gabe Davis goes at 88. So NF42 stacking up the wide receivers and running back this draft. You're bringing in Dak Prescott here to go along with Joe Burrow. Tyler Algier, Austin Eckler. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Deshaun Watson off the board to the team that has Patty Mahomes. Interesting. Interesting. Deshaun Watson fell 10 picks, so cool with it. Let's see what Bry does. James Conner, I love the value on James Conner at 90, 92. So, in my mind, this is kinda what my draft board is looking like. Does H.J. Wigglesworth go another QB? Because a normal person wouldn't, right? You already have Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. He shouldn't, so I should be able to pick up my running back of my choice, but I'll just I'll just go safe in case he goes rogue. If he goes Kirk Cousins here, like, don't be surprised, him having JJ. Alright, good. Okay. So should we smooth out the exposure with the rookie pick or just go who we've been going the whole time with James Cook? Quick, in the chat. James Cook or Carbonate? Sharpen it. Alright, we're just gonna go with our same guy. But James Cook. See if Buffalo moves on from Singletary. Cook got a little more involved at the end of the season, averaged over 5 yards per touch, caught 20 passes, so definitely has upside. We like Danny Dimes here at QB as our QB1. He provides a nice floor, also has the rushing upside. It's still probably gonna need to be a 3 QB team, which is fine. That boy. Got lucky and took down a DK. We love to hear that. We love to hear that. Always in the draft room, I feel like. Brian Robinson falling to 105. Zach Charbonnet going at 101. Here we see a little run at QBs. Jalen Hyatt going at 104. I like that pick. He's a burner in this year's draft class. Let's see what he does at the 9-10 turn. After picking 4 wide receivers, he goes another one with Elijah Moore. I think that's a little reach on Elijah Moore. That's a bad thing. Because if we're reaching on, like, Garrett Wilson, we're assuming that the Jets are bringing in a QB. Elijah Moore should be going in this range if we think there's gonna be an improvement at QB and LaFleur is no longer there. TB Bucks grabbing Aaron Rodgers. Potentially with the Las Vegas stack. I think that was your reasoning behind it. And getting Waller as well. Super interesting. Russell Wilson off the board at 112 to the team that has Judy. I like it. I like it. I like it. Bringing in correlation in all different ways. Just nice to see. Gives you some ideas too for future drafts. Do we really do you think that Rodgers would eat his pride and go to Vegas after Devontae Adams said that Derek Carr is basically the same talent as Rodgers? I don't know. I don't know. If we take that into account, I don't know. I'm hoping Geno falls here. We'll pair him with DK Metcalf, and we're gonna need a receiver here, but I'm fine with I'm hoping to get one of these 2. I guess we could reach up for the correlation, which would make sense. I'm fine with doing that as well. That's why you gotta scroll down a little bit, just, see who's down there, see if it makes sense, because Robinson's not gonna be there at 144. He's not the type of player that's gonna drop extremely far in these drafts. Alright, so we get sniped on him, and that's fine. We'll just take the value with Mooney, who fell 10 picks, 11 picks. Not a big deal. If I'm here, I'm probably not reaching on Robinson. I'm probably just scooping Mooney, but tomato, tomato to me. Shake it off and move on. Took Barrow at 32. Thought I'd be done at QB. Then T-Law was there at 65. Yes, sir. Got to get different. 20 rounds, so there's plenty of ways to get different. Plenty of ways. Justin Herbert and Tua. Let's see. Michael Thomas goes at 126. Zeke at 128 to bring in your third RB. Expected back in Dallas, right? But I think they want him to restructure. He's getting paid a lot right now. Paid a lot to do a little, but he still will get the touches, so pretty much guarantee if he stays in Dallas, he'll get 10 to 12, 10 to 14 touches a game, right? So that's good value at pick 128. He definitely lost a step. He's on my do not draft list last year when I first started YouTube. He was in one of my first YouTube shorts. Super funny. Those qualities were bad. Funny to look back on them, though. Cole Kmet at 131 to the Justin Fields team. Good value, even though he has Mark Andrews. Probably stopping at tight end there. I mean, any draft you're in with look how many badges we got. 10 out of 12 teams are badges. Now, once we get into the offseason, further into the summer, you'll start getting into drafts with many people will not have badges. There's a lot of new blood on Underdog. So if you're new, like, these are gonna be the sharper drafts. tougher competition, whereas in the middle of the summer and the puppies, there's gonna be a lot less competition, a lot more dead lineups, easier draft rooms, something to think about. We're gonna try to stay on pace with our 30% advance rate in these tourneys. Staffy off the board at 135. I don't know. I get he's a good value, but I don't think I have any Staffy besides 1 team with Cup, 1 or 2 teams with Cup, because he can't get there on the ground, right? So I'd rather just pick a late round QB, even a rookie like Richardson or Tannehill. We'll see. The Rams can't have a worse year than last year, so it's only up from there. And at 42, I think that's back-to-back drafts where he selected Greg Dulcich, really believing in, uh, Sean Payton over there to see an increase in this offense. Russell Wilson ranked dead last in red zone efficiency, like 35% conversion rate. Dulcich might be the answer. I think Tim Patrick coming back will also help that team. Let's see who we have fallen to us. I see a couple guys I'm interested in. Let's bring in Hodgins, get some correlation with Daniel Jones. Our wide receiver room's looking good. We don't have to go tight end here, so I would like one of these 2 rookies. Let's bring in the 4.240 Devon fast. Look at his tape. It's ridiculous. He is fast. I don't think he's gonna have a 3 down roll, but that being said, he can break an 80-yard touchdown. So, if he ends up on the right team, could have a large role. And I think after the combine, once he runs a 4.240 and that is posted everywhere on Twitter, he's gonna be going around 100, 112. People overreact, where his landing spot will matter the most, to be honest. Foreman's interesting. Do they bring in a running back? If not, do they just sign Foreman, who did a pretty damn good job last year for them? So I think Foreman's interesting, especially in, like, 0 RB builds, kinda planning. Imagine going 0 RB and getting a guy like Foreman who's the RB1 on the team at pick 166 is interesting. Now for this squad, probably not my favorite pick because we already have a good floor with Henry and Najee. So this is why we go upside picks like these 2 guys. 12 picks away, it's like an eternity. You just basically take these guys off. Let's see the board. Kenny Pickett going at 155. Okay, here we go, a little correlation here. I like that. I think Higbee can be a great value tight end this year at 155. Dobbs, Sky Moore. Let's see the last couple of picks, bro. You went Dobbs, Mitchell, Tyler Boyd, Zay Jones. You have Trevor Lawrence at QB. So the Zay Jones pick makes sense. Cool. I wanna know if you guys don't have Trevor Lawrence, are you picking Zay Jones at 116 before Palmer, Wando Robinson, Darnell, some of these guys? I find it hard to find the value with Zay Jones, where they just brought on Ridley. But if you have the stack, I'm fine with it. Just kind of ignoring Zay Jones if I don't have Trevor Lawrence though. Yeah, I agree. Curtis Samuel off the board. Seems like a disrespectful ADP for Curtis Samuel, right? Seems like a disrespectful ADP for him. I'm much higher on Curtis Samuel than this ADP. And Alec Pierce as well. These two guys should be going probably around 138 in this range. Yes, the king is in here. The king is in here in the live stream. Zach Ertz going at 164, followed by DJ Chark. Let's see what we're gonna do here. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at the RB value just drop into us right in our plate. We don't even have to beg. I probably like Damien Harris the best out of the remaining RBs in here. We'll pick up a high upside wide receiver. One of these three guys. We can get a lot of Nico Collins, so maybe this is the Tyquan Thornton draft. Mostert off the board. Would you snipe him? Or is it Renfro? Yeah, snipe Renfro. I don't think the king is actually in here, King Dubs. So you're gonna have to find him on Twitter or something. All right. So we'll bring in Tyquan Thornton here. Someone that ADP could change significantly if they move on from Myers and if they move on from Nelson Aguilar. Ooh, baby. I like that. This is the big brain, galaxy braining talk that we like to have in these chats. Nico Collins and Mechie, and then pair it with Stroud or Young. Super smart. I have a lot of Richardson with Indy stacks, Johnny Woods, Pittman, Alec Pierce. Just trying different combinations that you're probably not going to be able to get once we have more information. So smart to do it now. I've seen it one time that I can remember. Nico Collins off the board. Followed by Mac Jones to the Jordan Love, Russell Wilson team. Brings in a nice floor. Jordan Love potentially getting the start in Green Bay, and don't have Green Bay receivers, but that's okay. Rashid Shaheed and McCole Hardman at the 15-16 turn, two high upside receivers. Surprised he let some of these running backs go, where he only had 4, but he's got the 2 bell cow with Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson. And then you should be getting touches from Antonio Gibson. Am I the only one not drafting Kenneth Gainwell at that ADP at 132? Even if they do move on from Miles Sanders, don't they have to bring someone in or draft someone? Given 53 attempts last year. It's not like he's not even a change of pace guy. Now, near the end of the season, they were using him as a change of pace guy, but also Miles Sanders was banged up. So I'm not confident that they are confident in Kenneth Gainwell as their RB1. And that's kind of where he's being drafted as. Or I'd rather an Elijah Mitchell going later. Ryan goes Rashad Penny. Get some upside. Get some upside. Let's see what Omar does. We're looking sort of something like this, where we could go tight end too if we needed to, with Bellinger, Stack, and Danny Dimes. I don't feel I need to, though. This team has 2 tight ends, so more likely to pick a running back too. Let's get some upside here with these 2 rookie prospects along with guaranteed touches in this backfield. See if we can end up with another RB1. That's the way I'm looking at it. Devil's advocate. Yeah, no, you do have to think of different situations and stuff that can happen. So I'm all for the big brain talk. Bijan Robinson's already looking at real estate in Philly. That would be insane behind that O-line. We could bring Tim Patrick into this. Let's see. 209. When's our next pick? At 215. All right. I have so much Tim Patrick. All right. Fine. Fine. Someone else can have him. I have way too much Tim Patrick. I'm fine with passing up on him. We get some correlation with Danny Dimes. We're assuming that Danny Dimes takes the next step, which he already did this past year under the new coach. He had, I think it was like 2.7 higher completion rate, which is a pretty big jump. Maybe we go a third tight end with this team. It's gonna depend who falls if the value's there. I'm good with these 6 running backs. I don't feel the need to draft another running back. So let's see, we have 3 picks left. So let's say 2 receivers and 1 tight end, or 2 receivers and a QB. It's gonna depend who falls. Let the value fall. Let the board decide. Bad with Walker and Penny. No, because there's a chance that Penny's not a Seahawk next year, so I'm fine with it. Now, if he is a Seahawk and it's guaranteed, right, I'm not as big of a fan as drafting my handcuffs, but that's okay. I mean, the guy's averaged 5.7 yards in his career. It's just he's just not able to stay healthy, so sample size is small. I think his rookie year, he played behind Chris Carson. Like, Penny was a first-round draft pick too, so they've shown the ability to wanna work with him even though he's been injured throughout his career, so we'll see. We'll see. But if you guys are new to the live stream, drop a like, helps the channel tremendously. If you like Bestball and you wanna jump in some of these live drafts with us, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and you'll be able to get into the draft. Or you can just watch as NF42 tries to ruin our advance rate. Go Slayton at 208. Slayton's not someone that I've been drafting a lot of just because I assume that they're gonna bring in another receiver on top of having Wando Robinson. I'm not too high on Isaiah Hodgins too with this ADP, but when I have Danny Dimes, I've been selecting him here and there. Richie James, I think, might be an okay floor guy, but ceiling is not high. It's like a cheap Hunter Renfrow. Good way to look at it. Good way to look at it. Let's see what Wizzo does here. Kenny. I think the NFL is going to be higher on this guy just because of the way he can catch the ball in the backfield. So all the QBs that I'd be interested in are gone. So I think we go 3 tight ends here. Let's go with Jelani Woods. We'll end this off with 2 wide receivers. Yeah, 4 QBs after picking Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. So that's why I did go Daniel Jones in this spot because wild card, he didn't need another QB after these 2. Can't always assume that the other player knows what the correct thing to do is, right? The correct thing. What is the correct thing? So early in the offseason. All I know is 4 QBs is not it when you have those 2. And we can go Matt Collins here. Kinda makes a boring wide receiver room if we do. We can just go Marvin Mims as well. Let's add a rookie in there. Let's take a chance. We have a good amount of Matt Collins. So here's the squad: Chase, Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, Najee Harris, DJ Moore, Dallas Goedert, Treylon Burks, Danny Dimes, James Cook, Geno Smith, Darnell Mooney, Hodgins, Devon. We got Damian Harris, Tyquan, Rashawn Johnson, Danny Bellinger, Delaney Woods, and Marvin Mims. And we have one more pick, which is going to be a receiver. It's gonna be another receiver. We'll get another high upside receiver. Let's see where we're at. Brian has Tyreek Hill, Kenneth Walker, Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, Zay Jones, Tyler Boyd, Elijah Mitchell, Romeo Dobbs, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki, Rashad Penny, Tim Patrick, Ryan Tannehill, and Conklin. So he went with 3 tight ends, which is nice. ELB has Eckler, Garrett Wilson, Joe Burrow, Mike Williams, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, back-to-back rookies there, Zeke Elliott, Alexander Mattison, Odell Beckham, Curtis Samuel, and Nico Collins. We're getting some good targets from some vets here. Trey McBride, Zamir White, Desmond Ridder, and Chase Brown. I like that team a lot. NF42, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Travis Etienne, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Aaron Jones, Pacheco, Gabe Davis, Brian Robinson, Russell Wilson, Dawson Knox, Greg Dulcich, Chase Claypool, Jordan Love, Mac Jones, Cordell Patterson, Allen Robinson, Darius Slayton, Hunter Henry, and Pierre Strong. Always strong. Roster's always strong. And lastly, TB Bucks in the live chat, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Ramondre Stevenson, DeAndre Hopkins, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, Cam Akers at a value, Darren Waller, Rashad White, Aaron Rodgers, KJ Osborne, Matty Ice, paired up with Tyler Higbee, Taysom Hill, John Mechie, Jalen Warren, Kendra Miller, who's an absolute freak. Check out his photo on Twitter if you haven't already. Zane Jefferson, Kate Otten, and Kyle Trask. So he brings in a high upside QB. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, who cares, right? Last round pick is not going to burn you. So I like that team a lot. Slayton won't be in a Giant uniform. I agree. Maybe he'll get a chance to be a good third wide receiver on another team. 100% agree. Brian's last pick. Richie James. Another floor guy. I think you could have gone with maybe a high upside rookie where you already have Tyler Boyd to give you a floor. But I like it. Richie James fits. It still fits the roster construction. I'm going to be interested in like a Devontae Parker or a Nathaniel Dell. We already have Tyquan Thornton, though. Let's reach down a little bit. Let's grab another prospect. And that's it. Guys, if you haven't already, let's put this on full screen. Let's get the speech. If you haven't already, drop a like on the live stream. It's appreciated tremendously. Subscribe to the channel if you like best ball, fantasy football, you wanna do some of these drafts with us, maybe you draft the winner on the live stream. I'm hoping that's what happens. Obviously, I'm hoping it's me, but if you wanna take second place, it's up for grabs. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. I think we're gonna be doing another one, probably just 1 or 2 drafts around 4 PM Eastern. So we'll catch you then. Hit the bell for notifications so you can get in the live drafts with us. And thank you for coming out, Pounders.